Hello and welcome to Kitty Talks Dogs. Today I would like you to meet Percy. Percy is a very beautiful Westie. He's been bought in a pet shop and he's born in 2021 in November. He's owned by Marleen de Walle and he's just a very joyful dog. He goes to the groomers every 3 months. And today, as you can see, he has a little bit of problems with mats, also at the back. Percy has been bought in a pet shop, which is no problem at all. But as you can see, Percy doesn't really have a Westie coat as it should be. So Percy is actually not being stripped. Percy is a commercial dog and he's totally everywhere scissored. Before we scissor, we will have to demat Percy because maybe the customer doesn't have the right kind of brushes, or maybe when they brush over the coat. But as you can see, when you open up the coat, you will see that he's quite matted. And today, with the right product, we will fix this with the quick fix. There's actually only one correct way of grooming a Westie, and that's hand stripping. And last year I've done a video with Poppy, the West Highland White Terrier, about grooming a Westie. Today I will actually do something which is not allowed according to the breed standard. I am actually going to scissor the coat. So actually I'm going to show you not how to groom a Westie. All dogs are beautiful. I love dogs very much. And I groom with all my heart and all my passion, but Percy is more a look-alike Westie than he is a real Westie. And not all dogs are so lucky to be born in a family home with a breeder or a show breeder. Percy is bought in a shop, and Percy comes from a very commercial breeder where only money is important. If you see the difference, the commercial breeder will breed any dog as many times as they can for the money. A show breeder will really go to the dog shows and try to get some titles. Beauty is very important. They will mate their dogs with the most beautiful dogs around them to think about breed confirmation, coat, and to improve the breed and to see the future of the West Highland White Terrier. And if you are a professional groomer or a student groomer and you are watching this video, Transgroom has a special group called Groom Care where you can discuss everything about grooming. You are very welcome if you are a professional to join us at this group. The whole grooming process today is divided in different chapters, and if you want to see a certain chapter, just scroll down below and push the chapter which is of your interest. These are the products I will be using in cleaning Percy's ears. I like the finger condoms very much because they give you a very good grip when you are doing the ears, and it's also clean because I like to pluck the hairs out of the ears with my fingers. I like to use the powder very much because immediately all the hairs are dry, and together with the powder and the finger condoms you can just easily pluck the hairs very nice out. It's not, you don't have to take a lot of hairs at once, just be gentle, as gently as possible. Uh-oh, this is really a problem. Oh, poor Percy. Okay, if you see this, it's really very painful for the dog. It's all red, it's open here, it's warm, the dog has an ear infection and really needs to go to the vet. So if you see this, if you are an owner or a groomer, I wouldn't touch the ear because it's really too painful. I would really ask the customer to go to the vet as soon as possible. So now I've put the product in the ear and I'm gently massaging. Actually, we have to wait like 30 seconds to have the active ingredients and the greasing agents like dissolve all the dirt and the wax inside, and then simply we can go inside with the big Q-tip, wet it with the product a bit more and gently go inside. I always take my time to do this. We don't want the dog to be uncomfortable. You don't actually have to be afraid of going too deep, because here I can show you a picture where the ear canal is like going down and a little bit upwards. So with the Q-tip you can't actually go too deep. The reason why I can't use any of the products here, because it's infected, it's red, and it's very painful. So if you would put product on here, that it would be very painful for the dog. So if the ear is like this, we do not advise to use any other product than the product that is subscribed by the vet. Here you can see the ear is not really very dirty. It wasn't also very greasy. Now we only have to do the outside of the ear, and for this I really like to use the wipes, the ear wipes. Gently clean the outside with the wipe. I kind of do this with my finger and my thumb, because also the outside of the ear can really be very dirty and greasy. Look. It's not really very dirty, but you can see it was a bit dirty. The first tool for clipping the dog's nails is the Showtek nail clipper. So the flat area where the dog walks, if you follow the flat area, you will see exactly where to clip. If you follow the flat area, you will never go too short. So exactly here, I can clip the tip off, because if I follow the flat area, normally I do it like this, but it's a bit against my hand. Voila. There's not much to do here. And this one is very long. Now here you don't have a flat area, and you just have to try not to go too short. If you go too far, the only thing you need to do is take the paper, and if this is, for example, bleeding, you hold it like this, and then you push the nail in there, you push with your thumb, and the bleeding will stop immediately. Of course, I will not show you this if I don't accidentally go too far. This is also very long. Okay. Oh, he's a good boy, yes. It's really not necessary, so I'm just taking off the point. And here as well, I'm just taking the little point, so it's not sharp, and then I will file it. We will use the nail grinder to file the dog's nails. So the special cap is for preventing the hair turning around, but you can also use it without the special cap. And today I'm just going to make sure the nail is nice and round, so it's not sharp at all. So I put my thumb on the nail, or on my thumb actually, and I go first from the bottom to the top, and then a bit to the side, a bit to the other side, and I make sure the nail is nicely round and is absolutely not sharp and has no sharp edges. Voilà. So I'm pretending everything is normal because everything is normal. I don't usually talk very much to the dogs while I'm working. I'm just pretending I'm very busy and everything is normal, and I'm not going to talk the dogs through everything. Now and then when it's necessary, I'm going to say good boy and stuff like that. But I won't overdo it. So this is the new Laguna, and the Laguna comes actually with 6 blades. Today I'm going to use the very short one, which is the fine one. It's very easy to put the blade on the machine. You see this little lip here, it goes in there, and when it's in there you just push it and you put the machine. I like this clipper very much because you can go from very short to very long, and this is like from 1.3 millimeter to nearly 2 millimeters when it's long. When it's all the way forward, it's 1.3 millimeter, and when it's all the way backwards, it's like 1.9 millimeter. I will use the fine blade to do between the pads and a bit the tummy. And then after the bath, I'm going to use the universal combs, which are all delivered with the clipper. From that line to that line, I like to shave in one line. So afterwards, when I'm cutting round feet, I can just go actually around the feet. And here I'm just going to go slightly between the pads. I like to do between the pads because I wouldn't like mats to go between the pads, so that's why I always check in between to make sure it's not matted and there's no dirt in between. And then I just turn the pads a bit outwards with my fingers so I can like scoop out all the hair in between. So today, with these kind of mats, we will use the quick fix spray for dematting. This will leave like a shiny layer on the coat and it will demat very easy. Of course, we will use brushes, and I'm going to choose the Tougher Than Tangles, the regular one, because you can see here the difference in the pins. Shorter pins are for more dematting and longer pins are more for maintenance. The shorter the pins, the firmer they are. The longer the pins, the more flexible they are. So today we need the firmness from the short pins to demat. So we will just spray on the coat a bit everywhere, especially on the mats, and we'll make sure the product can stay on there a few minutes, and then we will start dematting. And here now gently I'm going to use the brush. I usually start all the way on the bottom. So here I'm like starting to go upwards, and I'm using the technique like line brushing, and small part by small part I'm gonna go upwards. Here I have a mat, as you can see here, and I'm just gonna go over the mat with my brush gently and let the pins of my brush go in between the mat and gently take the mat out. If it's too long, I can use my dematter and I can just put my pins, the pins from the dematter in there, and gently with the teeth of the dematter like tease out a little bit the mat. Now the mat is not out, but it's loose, and I'm gonna go back to my slicker brush and gently take out the mat. Because we have used the quick flicks, the coat is like a little slippy, and the mats actually are very easy to tease out here as well. So let me explain a bit about dematters. The dematters have blades, and the blades are very sharp. Many people think that it's like to put in there and pull, and actually it's not advisable, because if you do that it would hurt. So what we do is we put the points into the coat and we take them back out. We put the points in the coat and we like pull a little, but not really. We put it in and we start pulling. We like tease the mat out. So like here we do this, and now you will hear it. You will hear like the points going in and back out like this. And we also like to hold our hands on top of the mat, so we don't have like that is uncomfortable for the dog. So we hold our hand here to prevent the pulling of the skin. And actually when you are using a slicker brush, you will easily hear when you don't have any more mats. Let me try to show you. Like, you hear it? If you hear that noise, it's because the pins are on the mat and trying to get the mat out. What I also am not doing, I'm like pushing the brush onto the skin. No, I'm gently brushing, and I'm actually holding the brush in the points of my hand, and I'm, gently taking out or brushing the hair. And here it's like a very big mat here, so I'm just also gonna put in the mat buster, actually it's called, and I'm gently gonna put in the points. And here as well you hear like me teasing out the mat. And then after a while I'm gonna use the slicker brush, because now it's not with the mat buster you have to take the mat out. With the mat buster we make the mat go loose, and here I'm like holding the coat against the skin with my thumb to loosen the mat a bit, and then I'm going to take out the rest of the mat with the slicker brush. If you are a professional groomer, it's actually on us to decide if it's too bad, because on this area it's very sensitive. If it's too bad, too painful for the dog, I wouldn't really demat. I would say, it's better that the dog is shaved. And here it's not really very matted. So I decided that it wasn't too severe to get it out, but in some circumstances it's just not possible, because the mats are really very hard. In this case it's going to take a while to demat, but it's still possible. and it doesn't look like it's very uncomfortable for the dog. I'm also doing it very gently, so I don't think it's very hard to demat. Of course, yes, it is going to take a while. And then you actually check yourself with the comb, and when you hear or feel it's like pulling more, you have to go back to the slicker brush, maybe lift the coat and do a part like this. Careful not to push down on the brush because we don't really want to hurt the skin. Now I'm all the way through here, also there, but here under, this is going to be clipper work. So which blade can you use to do this? The easiest blade is the very short one, because the short one, as you can see, the short one is very fine because it's going to clip very, very short. This is the easiest one to go in between or under the mat against the skin. The most beautiful one would be the one where I can still leave 12 millimeter of coat. But as you can see, a blade with 12 millimeter thickness is thick, and this will be very difficult to go under the mats. Today I'm gonna choose the 5 because the 5 is like in between, and the 5 will be like 6 millimeter long. I will first try it with the 5, and if the 5 doesn't work, I'm going to have to go shorter. So now I have to find a way to get below the mats. And of course, the more we go there, the more difficult it will be, because here, look, it's very difficult to get between the mats because the blade is so thick. So now I will take the fine blade, because the fine blade will easily go under or between the mats. So here I'm just gonna easily go under the mat and just the thing is, it's going to be short, but there's no other way we can get rid of all the dirt and the mats. So it's going to have to be short. But we're very lucky we have beautiful products to help us to use. So this is really very dirty, and the way to where you have to clean this is, it's very nice. I like to have always the wet wipes with me, and it's very simple. You just push some speed clean on and you can just easily, like with the wipe, you can wipe it off and it's going to be like the first wash. Because if you have to shave, do all the tummy work like this, it's really not nice to have a dirty dog like that. The goo is gone, it's nice and clean, and now I can do some clipper work. Shaving at a very sensitive area, I would never recommend going very short. So I'm going to take all the way the blade away. This is the fine blade, and you can compare it to a size 30. In this position it will clip on 0.25 millimeter, in this position 0.5 millimeter, this is 1 millimeter, and now the last position it will clip at 1.5 millimeters. Okay, now the other side. A show West Highland White Terrier. We don't usually do this, especially shave so far, but as you saw, it was very dirty there, and it's also very matted there, so in this case I really insist of making this part as short as possible. So now the sensitive areas are clean, so now I can just hold my fingers here and then just go around and maybe lift the tail and just gently tease out the rest of the mats here in this sensitive area. And personally you can actually do that after the bath as well, but I prefer to do everything before the bath. If you have the feeling you are going over the mats, you can just clean out your brush or get all the mats out there and just go over again. And if you have the feeling you can't grab the mats, you can always with your comb do that. And the mats who are very close to the skin will now be lifted. And then with the hooks here in the slicker brush, you can very easily grab the mat. And now you hear it. What you can't do while you're brushing is that kind of movement. If you do that, I can show you on my hand what you're doing. If you do this movement, you will damage the skin and this part of the brush will break. So I strongly advise you, when you are dematting or brushing, just hold the brush flat and don't do this kind of movement. What you can do is lift the coat, and you see I'm just brushing, lifting the coat and going from the back towards the front. So the back of the tail I shaved, and now I'm just going to go through the rest of the tail. And here the mats are very loose, it's coming out very nice. And now with my comb I can just check if I have this part well, and now I can just go through the coat very easily. If it's too dry, I'm going to use the quick fix again. And then the coat is going to be slippy, and it's going to be much easier to tease the mats out. The Quick Fix spray contains moisturizing and conditioning ingredients, and actually it hydrates each single hair. More importantly for me, it contains ingredients that close each hair cuticle. Figure 1 here is a very healthy hair. As you can see, it's very slim and it looks really very normal. Figure 2 is a hair with open cuticles. The hair is dry, and if you have a hair with open cuticles, it will mat. As you can see in figure 3, it has hooks hooks on it. Now if we go to figure 4, here I want to say, in a small part you have thousands of hair next to each other, and here it's just important to know, if you have these little hooks, they will hook in each other, and then you have mats. And here in figure 5 you see the hooks, and this is exactly what we want to prevent. Now if we go back to the quick fix spray, the quick fix spray makes a layer and closes every cuticle, and then we go to figure 1, and if you have thousands of hair next to each other like figure 1, you will never have a problem with mats and tangles, and you will very easily maintain the coat. To prevent the way the coat is now, the only thing you need is the Tougher Than Tangles brush, the quick fix, the mat buster and a comb. And if you weekly go over the coat thoroughly, you will never have a coat in this situation. So gently, part per part, little bit by little bit, we use the mat buster. We tease a bit the mat, now it's nice and loose, and then we use the brush. In combination. I don't really want to take too much out at once, because I don't want the dog to feel uncomfortable. And actually every time we use the mat buster, because these are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knives, we cut the mat in different sides. Like I've used it here a bit, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mats, and then gently with my slicker brush I go over it and tease the rest of the mat out. Here again. And here this is like very loose and very much coming out. Here you see in my brush all the mats that came out. Now for the rest, you can even lift the front feet, and here it's very bad. We can spray a bit more quick fix. And now you can just hear the brush with no resistance in the coat. So now if I will take my comb, I can just go through the coat everywhere. The comb is actually our checkpoint. So now this is all done and all good. There's many ways of dematting. There's many ways, many different brushes. This is the Tougher Than Tangles brush. The name says it. It's the only original. It's been made in 2002 by Showtech. The angulation of the pins are correct to take the mats and to be able to tease the mats out. They're not too hard. The pins are not too soft. The brush is very light. It has a very long handle. I like this brush for dematting very much. For me, it works very well. And together with the quick fix, the slicker brush and the mat buster, also from Showtech, it's very easy to take all the mats out. What I also don't do, I don't stay in one spot. I go from the bottom to the top. I tease some out. So it's not, you know, uncomfortable for the dog. And I would say if the mats are very worse than this, I wouldn't even demat anymore. I would just choose to shave the dog, because the last thing we need to do is hurting the dogs to groom. It should be fun and stay fun for both of us. For the first wash, we chose the Showtek Brightening Shampoo, not only because it's my favorite, but also for its deep cleaning properties. The Brightening is also a shampoo that removes unwanted odors and yellow stains. First, we are going to look up how the concentrate is, and in this case it's 1 to 35, and we will follow the line, and we always put the water into the bottle. After we've put the water into the bottle, we put the shampoo in the bottle, and then we don't have a problem with over foaming. So here you see us filling up the bottle. Finding the right line is sometimes a challenge, and when we have the right line, then we can fill up the shampoo until the filling line. The brightening shampoo is also a very fresh smell. It smells actually very wonderful. It's a deep cleaning shampoo, and it's a very nice shampoo to use. And here you see what a beautiful color the brightening shampoo is. For the second shampoo, we have chosen the Showtek Rise and Shine shampoo, which works on everything to do with texturizing and volume. And as the name says it, rise and shine, to make the hair go up. Also 1 to 35 concentrate. So here as well we are following the line 1 to 35. And if you put 10 grams shampoo, it's very easy. You need to put 35 times 10 grams is 350 grams of water. So just multiply it by 35 in whatever amount you are using or weighing. Or you can also prepare it in a cup. In this case, put 1 cup of anything of shampoo, and you take 35 cups of water. And here you see Kitty washing, and immediately as he touches the coat, look at how it's foaming up, and it's like very nice slippy lather. It's very important, especially in Percy's case, because Percy hasn't seen a bath in months, that the dog is like very hard, not, I wouldn't say hard, but it should be quite firm massaged, so it's actually deep cleaning, and if you like stroke it, the dirt from that is on top of the skin for a while won't dissolve. So it's really very important to have a firm grip when you are massaging a dog which hasn't been bathed a while. And I'm still surprised how good Percy is, because Percy is not a dog that is used to bathing or washing or water, and he's like behaving like a very professional, like a dog that is going to a dog show, that is like used to being washed and groomed. So I'm actually very happy about Percy. He's a wonderful dog with a wonderful temperament. Here you see Kitty rubbing and massaging the face. And look how wonderful Percy is, letting us groom and wash, just like a professional. It's also very fun using the brightening shampoo. When you actually put the shampoo on the coat, you see how much shampoo you use, because it's dark purple. if you have like a clear shampoo and you put the shampoo on the coat, sometimes you don't see a difference in color and you don't actually see how much shampoo you are pouring on the dog. And here you see Kitty rinsing Percy. And each time you have to understand now, let's imagine it's very dirty and there's an odor, and when we wash with shampoo, we pour the shampoo on and we rub everything together. It kind of dissolves, but actually the washing is happening while we are rinsing, because then we are putting fresh water on and all the dirt is going. So here as well, it's very important to stay on massaging while you are rinsing, because that's actually the moment that you get rid of the dirt and the odor. And here you see the second wash. Here as well you see us, we have rinsed everything out and we have start from zero with the second wash. And here you see us applying all the shampoo again and having like a firm grip for washing. And here is as well, you see a very nice lather. And here again the rinsing. And now here you see the Rise and Shine conditioner. The Rise and Shine volumizing conditioner will nourish the coat without making it heavy or greasy. It contains keratin, collagen, provitamin B5 and wheat protein. It will make the coat dry faster after washing, maintain free, so without mats, and very easy to style. A few moments, you don't have to wait 10 minutes with a terrier coat or with a volume coat, but you know, at least 2, 3, maximum 4, 5 minutes before you rinse, so all the ingredients can actually nourish the coat. And then it's very important to rinse well. And how do you know all the conditioner is rinsed out? It's very easy. When all the conditioner is rinsed out, when you are massaging and rubbing the coat, it won't feel slippy anymore and it will go back to like crunchy, like you feel like this. And that's the way you feel, or you know that you have rinsed enough and all the conditioner is rinsed off. The K9 Power Blaster you see us using here, and this is the fastest tool to get most water out of the coat and to straighten up all the hairs, so you have not much work to do after you've done with the Power Blaster. I don't think Percy likes the force dryer very much, but the force dryer is like very interesting, because with the force dryer you can win a lot of time, and if you have a big dog, the force dryer will force out all the water, because that's actually why it's called a force dryer. We hold the force dryer very slow to the skin, and as you can see here, Kitty has taken out the nozzle from the force dryer. That actually means that Percy was not very happy with the nozzle, because the nozzle is really making a lot of noise, and we are not here to like frighten the dogs, and if the dog is too frightened we can just put out the nozzle. Here she is doing the ears. We have with our hand protected the ear, so because that's his bad ear, and we don't want any air to go into the ear. We want to not touch the ear, so Percy can go to the veterinarian as quickly as possible. The Rapid Cyclone dryer is one of the strongest stand dryers we have, and of course this is the fastest way to fluff out the coat. It's easy just use the slicker brush together with the hot air from the dryer, and the coat will fluff up very easily. It's very easy with this dryer to see where you need to brush. Where the dryer hits the skin, the coat will open up, and it's exactly there we need to brush together with the hot air from the dryer and the pins from the slicker. You will straighten out all the hairs. Percy, you're beautiful! You're beautiful, yes! So Percy in the meantime has had his bath, and I'm very excited to show you what the Laguna can do. This is the fine blade on here, and we are going to use the plastic universal combs that come with the Laguna. Now, how do they work? They have two sides. This is actually how long the hair will stay after I'm grooming. So this is slightly longer than this side. This is 12 millimeter, as you can see here. So that side is 12 millimeter and that side is 9 millimeter. I'm going to choose the 9 millimeter, and I have to put it in here, and here there's a little lip. And here there's a little hole, so I'm just going to put it in here with the hole and just click it in. So you heard a little clip, and now it's like fixed. And now let's start grooming. So here you see me working against the direction of the hair. For people that are just tuning in, you cannot do this when the hair is not totally clean and dematted. And I'm gonna go as high, I will show you, I will go as high as where my thumbs are. So just behind the head, I'm gonna make a virtual line, and like I'm gonna go as far up as there. So it's very easy, just where his chin is, or you know, not his chin, his head. I'm gonna go up to there. Let me show you. What did we do? I'm losing it. So this is the line we've made. Come, standing. Go. This is the line we made, like this. Okay, so it's still a bit rough, but don't worry about it. I'm just gonna make sure for his own safety, I'm gonna put him on the leash. I'm just gonna switch the blade. Yeah. For switching the blade here, so let me show you the clipper. The clipper is all the way on the shortest possible way. We were using the 9 millimeter, and now we're just gonna switch it around, and now I'm gonna use the 12 millimeter. And again, with this lip, it's gonna go in this hole, so like this. And then I'm just gonna take this part over, and now it's nicely and fixed. 12 millimeter is the longest snap-on comb, and it's ideal for pet dogs and everything you do. The only thing you have to be aware of, if you use snap-on combs, you have to do your prep work perfectly, so the machine actually slides through the hair without having any mats. The other thing to take in consideration is here I'm not going this direction. I'm looking at the hair, and the hair is like going down. So I'm following the direction of the coat. So here I'm nicely following the direction of the coat. You can go over it a few times. Actually, I'm using now the clipper to style, but later I can just do the rest with the scissor. So here I can go straight down. And here I'm not pushing very much. This is a line, but I don't really want to see the line. So here I'm like going over the skin, and then I'm like letting go and like doing this. Because I don't really want to see any lines. I want to have a natural look. And that's how easy it is with the Laguna. Here as well. It's important to follow the direction of the coat, or else you will have lines and you won't have a very good finish. Let's do the other side. Now, if I would have more coat, I can put the turbo on, and when actually the turbo is working, I see a red button here. And now we are ready for doing some scissoring work. Yeah, scissoring work. So here I have chosen two scissors to work with. This is the small chunker and this is the blender. I will start with the blender, do the big works, and I will do the finishing with the Ergoline blender. So here my aim is just to lift the coat, and when I've lifted the coat, I'm just gonna go in the coat and do a few scissors a few times. What I'm not gonna do is scissor and keep on scissoring in the same place. I'm gonna like move forward, and you will see it's gonna become a very natural finish. And here now you see how natural the shoulder is becoming to be. And I'm going to use the fine blender to do the finishing, and I'm going to use the big blender to make the big job, like here, here and here. See, I did a few scissors and then already it's got a natural finish to it. Here as well, I'll show you it again. I've just combed everything up. The comb is also very important for this. I'm using the Utsumi carbon comb, and the Utsumi carbon comb is like extremely light and it's totally flat. And I like the way that it's totally flat, because if I want to do this type of thing, which I'm going to show you later, I can, and I'm not gonna, like, some scissors have like a bubble here. So if you see it from this side, the comb is not totally flat. And if you see this comb next to it, it's totally flat. It's very good for the scissor-on comb technique. And for the scissor-on comb technique, I prefer to have a flat comb. So that's why I've chosen today to use this scissor. I hold my scissor like at 2 fingers away from the coat, and that's where I'm scissoring. And that's what I need to remember. It's not good that suddenly I'm very close, because, you know, then you will immediately go very short and you will see the skin through the coat, and that's really not what we want. Here on this drawing you see 2 West Highland White Terriers. The left one, number 1, is quite correct for its size and for the commercial clip we're doing today, and the right hand side is where the shoulders are made too thick and the legs are too thick, and you see it's not really nice balanced. So when you stand in front of the dog, just make sure there's not much hairs sticking out. And here we're absolutely not going to go leave the hair very long, because he was so matted. And I don't see this as a Westie, I see this more as a commercial Westie. I won't say a mixed, but if you have a Westie, the hair needs to be much longer, has more maintenance. So actually, I would also advise this customer to go to the groomers every 4 weeks to prevent the matting he had when he arrived. And here I can just lift the coat. So the bottom is done now. I'm gonna do the other side of the shoulder and the back, and then we will do the top of the back. Here too, we're just going to lift up the hair. Here you see the West Highland White Terrier in a commercial way with a correct top line, and on the bottom you have like the top line which has still too much hair. So just step way back and have a look from a distance to the top line, and if the back is with an arch or the neck has an arch, just make sure you smoothen everything out and you make sure the top line is nice and smooth. A Westie has actually a nice neck, and then he has a part where the back is quite horizontal. Just make sure it's all nicely and smooth. And here you see me holding my scissor like flat. So, and then I'm going around his foot. Also on the inside, I'm gonna go comb everything towards the outside or the inside like this, and then just go with my scissor downwards and take all the hairs which are sticking out. Also on this side, I can comb everything that way and then make it. And now I'm just freehand lifting the hair all the way up and just going from under to the top, because here, this hair here, I'm not afraid of taking short. So I'm just lifting. Actually, when I look from the top view, I want the dog to have like a very fine neck. So I'm working on, first of all, letting the neck come out clearly without having all this fluff here. And I'm not afraid of going really short in certain places, so that's exactly what I'm doing, especially here. Uh-oh, he's tired. Uh-oh, he's getting tired. That's normal. He's been on the table for a while. And here at the sides, I need it to be really short. Short here, and then make this hair get longer. Okay, now if that's done, I will ask Percy to stand up again and we will finish the total back line. Go. Go. Yeah. So to do this, we can like use a flat comb with the scissor technique and lift the coat and do that. To finish it, you can see that the coat is still long because we did it with the attachment comb. We can also go like this, a little at the time. And all the hairs which need to be scissored are going to appear in my scissor like automatically. And then don't forget to comb backwards, but instead of having flat, because the dog has a round body, we have a round comb to help us. So this way, if you combine this with a scissor, you can comb over, you can scissor more, but then when you have not a straight scissor, but a curved blending scissor, your work is even going to be more fun and more fast. So here we are just going to lift the coat up with this round comb. We put the comb in the coat and pull it forward, and then we have all the points which need scissoring. And this way we can create a very nice finish. And now the other side. And here I'm just going to finish the tail. The tail is not really with a very big point, but it's also not a stump. It should be like a parsnip, not really like a fine carrot. It can have the form of a carrot, but then it needs to be like a thick carrot. And like to do this part short, I can just turn my scissor around and take the form and make it and now I'm like holding the hair between my fingers, and all the hairs which are sticking out I'm scissoring. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. It's a bit the same as doing this and this, but I'm actually using my hand, the palm of my hand, to do it. And you just have to be careful not to scissor in your fingers. And yes, I did scissor in my fingers before, but it's a while ago. So here it's important that to have the angulation here, even though it's a commercial clip, we are going to go short here and then go out, around, in, and then you have the angulation, and it's going to be perfect. Hey, Percy. All this hair can go, because here it needs to do that. So we don't want it very long here, because we've all seen the mats he had. So we absolutely don't want it very long here. And now I'm just gonna lift everything up, or freehand. But the most important is, if we do that, we have a natural finish. And you can, with the normal scissors, do the finishing instead of with the thinning scissor. It's just more directly scissoring. And now I'm just trying to have this part, so it's also like a part straight, and then this way, and then this way. And I'm giving the dog here a little bit more knee by going a bit shorter there. This part, you just have to make sure it's fluently and it's rounded. Percy's getting tired. And it's just following the line of the dog without having a gap here, because if I would have gone shorter here, it would have looked like this. And then we would have like where the dog is really like a greyhound actually. So it's very important you keep that hair a bit long. it's important to keep on combing the hair in all kind of directions, not to finish up with that much hair sticking out the sides. Here you see a drawing of a not correct Westie, which has like a Kobo-like rear, because there's still too much hair sticking out there, and if it's windy the hair blows up and it's just not done. So be careful to make this area flat. And you don't have to stick in one direction. If it's better, you go up and down and you change direction, because now I'm going from the front to the back, and that's also very possible. Why did I do that? Because when I check myself here, I see it like this, and for me it was just, you know, sticking out too much. And that's why I decided to go slightly shorter here. I can even go all deep a few times to make it like less thick, the hair. And then it's gonna fall better, fall flatter, and it's gonna look more natural. Voila. Actually, when you lift the tail, you can comb and brush. And if there's hair coming over the tail, you can still scissor a bit, because that's exactly what we don't want. The top line needs to be like smooth. So Percy, what are we going to do with these ears? It's beautiful, but it's not like a Westie. But as it's beautiful, I'm also not going to groom it as a Westie, because it's not Westie-like. So the ears, I'm just going to go with his ears and just make it as pretty as possible. A Westie ear needs to be shaved, but I don't want to touch Percy's ears very much, because he has his own ears. They're not Westie ears, but they are beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Percy has a beautiful temperament. He's not used to being grooming, because he only goes every 3 months, and he's really being on the table like a professional. He's really a very good boy, aren't you? So I'm gonna make Percy as natural as possible. I'm just gonna lift them and remove them with the blender. And I've chosen the Ergoline 46 teeth blender to do this, because these have very fine teeth, and actually this blender is one of my favorite blenders. It's very comfortable to hold, it's not heavy, and it's very sharp. Voila. Okay, now the eyes are clear. Okay, and now I'm gonna use my normal scissors. And between the ears, I'm just gonna scissor it short. And I'm gonna go around and around and around this as well. Now the bottom. before Percy was not letting me groom this area because he was sensitive. So I stopped, but here you see now. Oh, that was a big sigh. Okay. So now also this area needs to be, all the hair which is like coming that way needs to be disappearing. So now I'm constantly making sure that there's no hair sticking out on the back, and the hairs that are sticking out on the back are like in line with the other hairs, because I wanted to have a natural finish. And I cut everything forward, and next to the eye I make sure, even when you are standing next to the dog, that you still see the eyes, like now, you see? I'm also going to do this here. He's such a good boy for a dog that's not used to having the scissor around his nose and around his lips. Oh! Sometimes I do this, and I scissor it a few times with the normal scissor. With my fingers and with my comb, I've made everything clear, but now by using a texturizer, I can make the hairs like stick up and see better for finishing. So this is the texturizer. It will help me to give texture, and the coat is actually going to stand up. It's very simple in use. You can just spray it on, or make it fall on there. It's a very light powder, and you can just then do this. This is the powder puffer, and it's very easy to put the powder here, but what if you want texturizing here in between? This is special to apply the powder, and every time you use it, it powders, it puffs the powder, and here you can just apply the powder in the coat. So now the powder is being applied. And now I'm just using a pin brush to make the hair stand up. Because the hairs are standing up, it will make it very easy to do the finishing for me. And I can do it by round movements and then like put my pins in and make them stand up. This is very different than chalk powder because this powder is totally transparent. Dogs like Percy are absolutely not used to having any spray or lacquer, and by using the powder puffer to texturize the head, it's much easier and they let you more work with the powder puffer. And you can just do the finishing with the scissor. You can even take the 2 ears to see. And then I usually step a bit back and then pull the dog and see how the ears are. Mojo, znobrowo. And here you see the before and the after pictures from Percy. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. My name is Kitty the Kiesgieter. I have been grooming since 1979. I've won a lot of prizes grooming dogs, but most important, I still love grooming dogs and I love to share my knowledge and my experience with you.